Today we're going to take a look at a pocket knife that you all seem to hate, but for some reason I seem to love. Well, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another video here at the channel. Always having a lot of fun, and these are some of my favorite ones when you as the knife community seem to not dig a particular design, and for some reason I do, and just talking that through. Now this came about because I picked this blade up, it seemed to connect with me, and I was like, hey, this will be a fun video. I posted some videos over on my Instagram and Facebook account, or some photos, and most of you guys were not digging this knife. And I'm talking about today, and what we're looking about obviously is the Spyderco Byrd Harrier 2. Now if you're not familiar with Byrd, it is a company that is owned by Spyderco. Obviously you can see in the lines and the design, and it's basically their budget friendly line. It's kind of like if Acura car company is Spyderco, these are the Hondas. So that's kind of the idea with them. They're usually lower steel designs, and they usually are all made in China. So that's the difference, but you are getting the same feel of a lot of Spyderco blades in their design and lines and those type of things. One of the major giveaways of any Byrd is that it has this kind of bird beak hole. It's actually the exact same cutout as most Spydercos. They just bring it in more so that it gives it a distinct look and looks like a bird beak. So the Harrier 2 here is a mix between the larger Cara from Byrd and the smaller Meadowlark 2. Both knives I have previously owned, tested, and reviewed here on the channel. The Meadowlark 2 coming in at like 2.5, right around the size of a Delica. The Cara coming in right around the size of the Endura. And this Harrier 2 coming in almost around the exact same size as the Endella from Spyderco that they released this year that I wasn't a big fan of. So how could I be a fan of this Harrier 2 and you guys not? Let's hop to the backyard stump and find out. Well, here we go. Gonna have some fun. I'm gonna bring in a bunch of competitive options. Another Byrd, this is the Raven 2. We'll talk about that today. I'm gonna kind of put this guy up over here. I got a Stretch 2 from Spyderco, and I got the Delica 4 from Spyderco. We'll throw that guy up over there. So why would this connect with me? And the question that I asked, if I didn't allude to it earlier, on Instagram and Facebook on some of those posts was, if you were to go between this Harrier 2 and a Spyderco Tenacious, which are right around the same price point, right around the $37 to $40 price point is what both of these guys kind of run in at. 35 to 40, let's say that. $35 to $40. The Tenacious is Spyderco brand. This is again Byrd, which is owned by Spyderco. They're both made with HCR 13 MOV. I would argue probably, unless someone can correct me, I believe they're made in the same factory. So there's that aspect. So we're looking at similar steels. Just the Tenacious is a liner lock. This is the lock back. And then we are looking at wider, beefier blade on the Tenacious, this being a more narrow precision blade. So those are just things that, but all of you seem to, almost to a person, said if I could only have one for 40 bucks-ish, I'd go with the Tenacious over this Harrier. And to be honest with you, I would actually do the opposite. I've owned the Tenacious. I've probably owned 4 Tenaciouses over the years. I don't own one right now. I've traded it off, given them away, done whatever. This I'm going to keep. And there's some reasons for that, and that's what we're going to break down today. So one of the main things for me that really connects with me is, again, the price point, and we're going to have links for you guys below over to Blade HQ, which I believe, or maybe GP Knives, I think is maybe where I picked this one up, but you can get a Blade HQ, GP Knives, Amazon. We'll have all those links for all the blades that you see here. We appreciate when you use those hyperlinks when you're purchasing the gear, regardless if it's this stuff or other things that you may see in the videos. We appreciate when you use the hyperlinks offered to you. Don't forget about 511 too. We just landed 511 over to their website as well that you can check out below. So with this guy, for that price point, what's really nice is I'm getting G10 handle scales. I've got a really solid lock back design there. Very, very solid. I really like that a lot. HCR 13 MOV. It's decent. We'll talk about some other competitive options that aren't here on the table for similar prices or just slightly more. It's going to sharpen up very easily. You can get a razor edge on it. It dulls pretty quick. And then we are looking at a 3.3 inch overall blade with about a 2.9 cutting edge. Thickness on the back there by that jimping of 0.11 and then tapering down to that really nice precise tip, full flat grind, which makes it a wicked slicer. Now, what I really like is the more precision. I like how piercing the blade is, definitely connects with me, you know, compared to like a Delica. It's very, very similar to that versus like the Byrd right here, the Raven 2, which I do like a lot. I'm not dissing it, or the Tenacious. I'm not dissing the Tenacious, guys. I'm just telling you why it connects with me. And I own this Byrd or the Raven 2, and that's a better knife in my opinion than the Tenacious for like $5 more. So that's part of the reason as well that I don't own a Tenacious. I have a Raven 2 with CTS BD1 steel, which is a better steel than the HCR. So that is part of it. The blade shape over a Tenacious and some of those wider blades connects to me a little bit more. If I was to only have to choose one, it's very precise. It's a great, wicked slicer. I can slice like crazy, and it doesn't have quite the leaf shape, more of a piercing shape. The other aspect, which I really like over, say, even like the Indela, you know, which I wasn't a big fan of, is that it has a designated choil. Some of you hate designated choils. I like designated choils on my pocket knives, particularly if they're on the larger end. I like to have the option. I don't have to use it because of the full handle there, which really fills out my hand well, that nice G10. But if I want to choke up and really get precise and really have nice control over the knife, I've got that choil to choke up on and work with. The Indela does not give me that option of the larger, or excuse me, of the actual Spyderco line. And there's something with the handle ergonomics. They're very similar, but they just seem to fit my hand a little bit better than on the Indela. This cut-in doesn't seem to be as abrupt, and my finger seems to rest a little bit better. They could be carbon copies. I don't know. It just seems to fit my hand a little bit better than what the Indela has to offer. Now you're getting a good weight because of the hollowed out G10, so there's no like liners in there, but it does have a really, again, nice non-flow through, and they have been screwed in. They're not pins on that G10 backing. This thing is going to come in at 3.4 ounces. Great weight. You got that 4-way directional pocket clip that you know from Spyderco. Just doesn't have the Spyderco logo on it. It's exactly the same as what I have here on my on my Delica. All these different names flying around. And then that long handle, but it's narrow, so it fits in, is very EDC-able, and I wear large size gloves. No hot spots, feels great, and then I can choke up and use the knife that way. So I really connect with the blade. And just to kind of give you some competitive options compared to this, and just to give you food for thought, again, going to that Byrd Raven 2, this has CTS BD1 steel, definitely a better steel than HCR, holds its edge a little longer, still very easy to tune up. You're getting a very similar blade length, but you will have, again, that more leafy shape, which is great. I'm not dissing it again. I'm just saying if I had to choose the blade shape on this, I connect with a little bit more. And guys, this Raven 2, it's a liner lock again, a little bit beefier, fuller handle if that's what you like. And again, a designated finger choil. This guy, ambidextrous all the way around, you know, all that. This guy's going to come in about $45. So for $37, $45, you can get a really nice blade, and I would definitely take this over a Tenacious as well, because you'll get a better steel and you get the designated choil like I was talking about. And the ergonomics tend to connect with me a little bit better than what's on the Tenacious. Again, not ragging on the Tenacious, it's just, it's not in the collection. There's a reason. I'm telling you why in this video. Now you can get these guys, many of these knives, maybe only the Stretch. I don't know if they have a serrated. You can get serrated option as well. I don't own a serrated blade at all because of that. Now I just want to show you I'm not a fan of serrated. Want to show you the Stretch 2 here, just for competitive option of size more than anything else, just so you can kind of see very similar size. Now, obviously VG10, there's lots of other options out there. It's going to be about the same weight, but you get a little beefier, thicker handle. It fills out your hand a little bit better, and just has a different type of blade shape. And that's why that's why I did not like the Indela as much, is because I have a Stretch, which is basically what I look for in that size of knife. I want a designated choil, and the little beefier handle fills out my hand a little bit better than what the Indela offers for about the same cost. And then just to give you some size perspective there with the Delica 4, that's more just for size perspective. Very similar size on the handle, just obviously shorter blade. The Metal R2 will be about the size of the Delica, and then the Caracara, again, will be about the size of the Endura. Now, two other competitive options I also wanted to run in because of really material and price point is what we have here, the Intrigue from Steel Will. Now they have a mini and a full size. This is the full size model. D2 steel, a polymer handle, liner lock, if you do like liner locks, but you're maybe looking for something a little bit different, standoffs, ambidextrous pocket clip, bronze bushings, D2 steel, run you about $40 to $45 depending on the size and the model and all that. So for a couple dollars more, you can get a D2 steel, which is a much better, longer edge retention steel, and it'll be lighter weight, but still gives you kind of that piercing precision blade like what you have on the Harrier 2. And then also just wanted to run in here the Cutjack. This is the full size. This is like about the same price, about 30. Sometimes you can get them for 35. You can get them to 45, 35 to $45. Very similar price point to the Harrier, but on the Harrier, on the Cutjack, you get again D2 steel, liner lock, bronze bushings, a finger choil, very similar, but it will have kind of that wider blade shape. So just giving you guys options, particularly if you're looking at maybe a Tenacious or the Harrier, things to think about. Great blades from Steel Will here as competitive options, and you're gonna get a better steel than the HCR. Now, one last thing I wanted to touch on is that the lockback, again, very solid, and the deployment is nice and smooth. Now, I don't believe they have any sort of bronze bushings, but I do see steel right around the joint here, so it's steel on steel. So it bounces nice and drops really nice and smoothly and flicks open without even me flicking the wrist. So the deployment is very nice. I like that. In some ways, it's almost even better than my Delica 4. I can flick it, but it tends to be really sticky on the drop and come back down. This guy, boom, swings and drops down. So the deployment for a lockback is very smooth, and I really like that aspect to the Harrier 2. Well, folks, there you have it. I hope that this video has helped you out, because for me, what I feel like is if you are either looking at the Indela and you're like, I really want that, but man, whatever it is, $70, $75 is really kind of steep for me. Half the cost, you can basically get a very similar knife to that. And if for whatever reason you don't like the Tenacious, you don't like liner locks, you prefer lock backs, maybe you want a little bit of a slimmer profile, just the profile connects with you over the Tenacious, I would absolutely go with this knife and have zero hesitation. I enjoy this blade. I'm gonna keep it in regular rotation as basically a beater blade to compete with some of the knives that you've seen here on the stump today. So I hope this video has shown you why I connect to the Harrier 2, whether or not it will fit inside your needs and your EDC systems and your budget or not. I will look forward to hearing your guys' thoughts on this particular knife, since I got a lot of that negative feedback on the Instagram page. Want to hear your guys' thoughts? Please leave comments below. Let's have a conversation and have a good time doing it. So guys, thank you so much for coming over. Check us out on the other videos popping up. I invite you to subscribe if you're not a current subscriber. We're throwing up videos and content every single week. And finally, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.